Governor Andrew Cuomo issuing the first in the nation executive order declaring gun violence in New York a disaster emergency. Cuomo shared his plan that aims to tackle the surge in gun violence throughout the state. He claims New York will lead the nation in combating and preventing gun violence, similar to how he claims the state saw success in New York's COVID response. Meanwhile, this story, New York Congresswoman Claudia Tenney thinks gun laws in New York are too restrictive. She's leading a group of 168 House Republicans urging the Supreme Court to overturn a 110-year-old gun law in New York. For a look at her plan, let's bring in Republican Congresswoman Claudia Tenney from New York. Congresswoman, good to see you right now. Quite frankly, there are a lot of topics to get to. In fact, Governor Cuomo declaring gun violence a disaster emergency, and then also your focus on this story here, again, in regards to the 110-year-old gun law. Let's start with your efforts. What's the law? What are you hoping to change?
Yeah, there's an old law passed in 1911. Actually, it was done by a Tammany Hall, basically a crooked politician named Sullivan, in response to a blue-blooded murder-suicide back over 100 years ago. And this law required that licenses for concealed carry be restricted. And the law was really aimed at incoming immigrants. And so we consider this law to be unconstitutional, and also the inconsistency throughout New York State in issuing the right to carry concealed for self-defense. And a county in Rensselaer County in upstate New York was denying licenses and concealed carry licenses to various people who met the stringent standards to concealed carry in New York. It's an inconsistent standard, and it actually requires you to only hold and possess a concealed carry weapon for defense in your home, not outside of your home. So we find it interesting that the U.S. Supreme Court has decided to take this case. It is the most significant Second Amendment case that the U.S. is going to hear since the Heller decision involving the District of Columbia. And I'm leading an amicus brief, a Friends of Court brief, that would give the Supreme Court guidance on why this Sullivan law should be overturned and why it shouldn't be the standard for the national standard for concealed carry. And I'm really pleased to be joined by at least 168 of my colleagues from across the nation on this very important case for preserving and protecting Second Amendment rights.
And as we know, the Supreme Court right now does have a conservative majority. Do you think that could be positive into achieving the outcome that you would like to see?
Well, we're hoping that the majority will hold. We know there's a couple of justices that are wavering a little bit, but we think that their records in pointing out really the injustice of the Sullivan law, and that it really should not be the basis for Second Amendment rights in New York. And we have to emphasize, I can't emphasize enough, New York, this is not a privilege to carry a firearm. It is a fundamental right under our Constitution, and it was preserved under the Bill of Rights. New York being an original colony, this was paramount and important to us back in the founding of this nation, where so many important battles, whether it's the Battle of Fort Scholar, the Battle of Saratoga, the Revolutionary War, and then the creation of our Constitution, where New York State, as an original colony, was actually 11th to join unless and until we adopted the Bill of Rights, protecting the rights of citizens against a tyrannical or overpowerful federal government. So it's interesting that it comes right back to New York, a founding colony, to preserve and protect our Second Amendment rights, which are so important.
Well, let's switch gears slightly, talking about New York's leadership. Governor Cuomo, again, this emergency announcement on gun violence. It happens to come a couple of weeks after he had to give up those emergency powers he held during the pandemic. Critics say this is a power grab. Congresswoman, how are you viewing this declaration? Do you think he's proposed an adequate plan to actually deal with the gun violence we're seeing?
Absolutely not. Governor Cuomo had an hysterical reaction to gun violence, so-called gun violence, back in 2013 when he passed the so-called SAFE Act, which was one of the most onerous gun-grabbing bills passed in the nation. And he was trying to beat President Obama with coming up with the most restrictive gun law. So why didn't that work? Because we're always targeting, or the Democrats are always targeting lawful gun owners. There is nothing in Governor Cuomo's package that deals with unlawful gun ownership, stealing guns coming across state lines illegally. All of this is focused on limiting the rights of legal possessors of guns in our country and lawful Second Amendment practitioners. It's really interesting. One of the things that Governor Cuomo said is, We want to do with gun violence what we did with COVID. Everyone should be terrified, not just in New York, but across the nation. This is the governor who created a policy that sent over 15,000 seniors and vulnerable people to their untimely deaths due to his COVID policies and putting COVID positive patients into nursing care, facilities. This is the guy who covered it up, without, made sure that the numbers weren't out there, then wrote a book about it. This is exactly the kind of wrong-ended policy. I mean, this guy is an abject failure on just about every subject. Just look at New York. We have some of the worst COVID rates. We have the worst gun violence among the many in the nation. In New York City, which has the most restrictive, or among the most restrictive gun rights. So they're not targeting the problem. He doesn't do anything about the terrible bail reform and so-called criminal justice reforms, releasing prisoners all across the county jails and the state facilities last year. People with violent criminal histories were let out on the streets. We don't have a gun problem. We have a violence problem in New York because of the policies of Governor Cuomo and the one-party rule in Albany.
All right, that is New York Congresswoman Claudia Tenney, a Republican from New York. Congresswoman, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, Emma Reckenberg here. If you like this video, there's a whole lot more to see on Newsmax TV. You can watch for free right here on our YouTube live stream and be the first one here each time our experts break down real news. Just hit that subscribe button, ring the bell icon, and stay with us on America's fastest growing cable news channel, Newsmax TV.